This is a presentation on subtracting integers by Mathematically Marcia. Alright, when you're subtracting integers on a number line, we can start with the first number, which would be 3. And instead of going to the right like we did for adding, we go to the left because we go backwards, subtract 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 3 minus 6 would be negative 3. For the next one, negative 1 is where we would start. But we're subtracting, which means we go backwards. But we're subtracting a negative. A negative is already backwards. So we do the opposite and we go forward. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right there to positive 3. So that's how we subtract integers on a number line. When we're subtracting integers, we basically add the opposite. So with algebra tiles, that means we take each tile and we essentially flip it over. Now once you've done that, it's just like you did with adding. Take your opposites out. So those are opposites. So we'll take those away, and when we do that, we're left with 1 yellow. So my answer is positive 1. So for the next example, we have negative 3 minus negative 2. Since it's negative on the bottom right now, they're red. But since it's subtraction, we want the opposite. So we're going to flip them, and we're going to change both of these to yellow. Now that we've done that, we can take our opposites away. And we are left with 1 red. So negative 1. On our example in the bottom, we have negative 3 minus 2. Since 2 is positive, right now it's yellow. But we're subtracting, so we need the opposite. So these will both change to red. Now we're essentially adding all reds together. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. So my answer is negative 5. In this last example, 3 minus negative 2, we're subtracting negative 2, so they're red, but since we're subtracting, we'll flip them over, do the opposite to make them yellow. So now you essentially have 5 yellows. So it is positive 5. Okay, now we'll look at some examples without the aid of the algebra tiles. As we said before, subtracting means add the opposite. So 5 minus 4 means I add negative 4. Now I can see I have different signs. So as we learned on the video with adding, when we are adding different signs, we subtract. And keep the larger absolute value. So if you remember with the algebra tiles, when you were subtracting, or when you were taking away the opposites, whichever tile you have more of is the one you kept. So that would be why we would keep that larger absolute value. That's what we have the leftovers of. So 5 plus negative 4, since they're different, we subtract. And I have more positives than I do negatives. So my answer is positive 1. With my next example, negative 3 minus negative 8, I add the opposite. So 2 signs change. It's kind of like dividing fractions. Keep, change, change. Once again, they're different signs, so I subtract. And I still have more positives than negatives, so it's going to be positive 5. Then down for my next example, 5 minus negative 10. Again, keep, change, or add the opposite. And as we learned with adding, when they are the same sign, you add and keep the same sign. So 5 plus 10, everything's positive. So you just put them all together and you get 15. 7 or negative 7 minus 12 means I add negative, keep, change, add the opposite. So negative 7 plus negative 12, now they're all negative or all red tiles. So my answer is also negative. If you have questions, comments, please share below. Or if you have some topics you would like to see in the future, please let me know. Thank you for watching.